It was strange. It seemed surreal that a season is postponed. Skip, this is not a sports issue. This is a public health issue. And to see this unfold, because you hear him says, okay, now the media is not allowed in the locker room. You have to go to a designated area. Then the NBA earlier yesterday said they're going to start. I think the Warriors were the first team. They say they're going to play their games in front of with no crowd. And okay, so that starts picking up steam.
That was supposed to be tonight.
Tonight, right.
Yep.
That starts picking up steam. And then the next thing you know, okay, the season is suspended. Skip, I think the thing is that anytime a situation happens, if it doesn't affect you directly or someone you know, I don't know if you give it the seriousness that it deserves. Because we hear about this virus, Skip, well, that happened in China, and it's in Italy, it's in Germany, or it's happening in America, but it's not happening to someone you know.
You're right.
Rudy Gobert getting this virus gave it realness. You hear Tom Hanks and his wife in Australia contracting this disease, this virus, it gives it realness. It puts a face to it. Hold on, this is for real. This is not a joke. Because I think sometimes, Skip, in the climate that we're in, a lot of things get tugged one way or another, and you say, well, how much of it is real, how much of it is not? Hyperbole, how much is just getting added on, or you're trying to politicize it. Sure. But I think now we have a realness to it. The NBA did the only thing that it could do, Skip, because now Rudy had this. And so what are you going to do? You could have well, there's only one guy, and then one guy turns to 5 turns to 10, 20, 30, and now you don't want that. Yep. So they did the only thing that they could do. They canceled suspended the season until they can gather more information. How do we slow this? How do we protect our players? Because that's the number one priority, Skip, is to protect their players. Adam Silver has the obligation to protect his 450 to 500 players, and I think he did that. You hear, LeBron was like on Sunday, after Friday game, he's like, I want to play. But I think once he started getting the correct information, Skip, this thing is an epidemic. Yep. And the NBA did the right thing, Adam Silver, and I'm not going to be surprised if more sports leagues don't take notice. Baseball has a season coming up. You still got soccer going on. They've canceled some of the soccer matches, Skip. But I'm going to be surprised if they don't shut this thing down for a minute until they gather more information, how to slow it, and then move forward from there.
I hear you. So, for me, last night was unlike any night I've ever experienced in my many, many years of watching sports. It was stunning. It was sobering. In the end, it was sad reality. And I still haven't quite gotten over last night.
Right.
In my many years covering sports, I've been through what are called work stoppages, strikes or lockouts. You've been through them. I've been through way too many of them. It sounds like, on a positive note, maybe the NFL's not going to have one of those. Right. Maybe we're going to have a quick agreement and a new CBA for the next 10 years. Right. But in this case, this was so different than a work stoppage, because in a work stoppage, it was always about money. It was about greed on one side or the other. So as a fan, I could either blame the owners or blame the players.
You could pick a side.
I could pick a side. Last night, I could only blame real life.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So for the first time in a long time on the sports front, I guess you'd say the first time ever, real life struck. And I can only speak from my perspective of, as you know, and people who watch the show know, I'm as crazed and passionate and hardcore sports fan as you will find. I am fanatic. I like my movies, but I love my games. I don't miss games. Every night I'm watching, it feels like nearly every game that's being played. So to a fault, I find myself living in a sports bubble.
Right.
You like politics. I don't even like politics. I don't follow it that closely. I just follow sports.
Right.
And to a fault, I'm sort of protected by my bubble.
Right.
And all of a sudden, last night, my bubble got punctured and invaded by the realist of life.
Basically infected.
Infected. It got infected. And it became life and death last night, right before my very eyes. So I'll be the first to concede that over this past weekend, I was certainly concerned about the spreading virus, but did I really acknowledge? No, did I give in to it? Did I really accept the gravity?
That's a good point.
No, I did not. I told you both last Friday night, even though I had to talk her into it, I talked Ernestine into going with me to a Vanderbilt-UCLA baseball game here in LA at Jackie Robinson Stadium.
Sure.
And she was a little concerned because during the day, there had been a report that 3 UCLA students had been tested for coronavirus, just tested.
Right.
And I said, it'll be okay. It's just, you're in the bubble in your head of, it's not going to happen to us.
Right.
Well, are you sure? Oh, we'll go. It was sold out and it was overflowing and it was all-time packed at Jackie Robinson for number 2 Vanderbilt versus number 6 UCLA. Saturday, we went to a movie. It was pretty packed. So I didn't sense any panic around us, any real urgency to stay out of the public.
To echo what you're saying, Skip, because I was out also on last weekend, went training and did that, and I didn't see that people were panicked.
No.
They went about their normal day. Now, I'm sure that it was on, people washing their hands and Purell because you can't find any of that stuff on the shelf.
Right.
So clearly they're taking it,
Okay.
but they went about their daily lives.
So yesterday I heard, okay, so the Warriors game tomorrow night, which is going to be tonight. Oh, so they're not going to have any fans.
Right.
Really? That's interesting.
Right.
But did it hit me? Nope, didn't hit me. And maybe you can argue that NBA owners, sort of like me, had heads in sand. Maybe all day yesterday they had heads in sand. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching and something is going on at the Thunder game. Well, what is going on?
Right.
Wait, they've suspended the game. At least they're not going to start it on time? Well, surely that's, no, that'd be okay. One thing leads to another, and suddenly, after I just heard that Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, his wife, in Australia had tested positive, so that puts some face to it, but they're in Australia,
Right.
so I'm thinking, okay, it's Australia. What are you doing? You shouldn't have traveled, Tom.
Right.
You're asking for it, right?
Seems far from us. That's the
Seemed
point.
too far from us.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, to your point, for me, this virus had a face. And it was the face of a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year who has led this league in block shots. I'm not saying he's a superstar, but he's a star.
Right.
And we all know who Rudy Gobert is.
Correct.
And we know what he looks like. And there's a face to coronavirus for me because I live in the sports world.
Right.
Oh, now you've hit me right between my eyes. I am sitting back in my chair and maybe 15 minutes pass and all of a sudden I'm talking to our producer, Azzy, on the phone trying to plan today's show. We have like 9 basketball topics we're thinking about.
Right.
And he says, uh-oh, I just got an email. The whole season has been, no. I'm like, no, you got that wrong. No, he said, I'll send it to you right now.
Right.
I open it up, official NBA memo. It's over, at least for the foreseeable future.
Correct.
At least for 2 weeks, and who knows how much longer.
Right.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.